Alright, so today we're talking about something a little bit different. Nothing to do with makeup. We're going to be talking all about motivation, productivity, kind of hacks, tips, things that I do to stay organized, to get shit done. So this video has been requested from you guys on social media, on YouTube, for a couple years now, and I've talked about it here and there in different shadow and schmoozes, but I kind of wanted to just do one all-encompassing video answering your questions from Twitter and just talking through everything. So if you're new here, just to give you a 20-second background really quick, I started YouTube when I was a full-time college student. So I was doing it on the weekends. I've kind of always done YouTube as a side thing until this year. Out of college, I got a job full-time where I was working 50-hour weeks and then on top of YouTube. So I would do YouTube on the weekends, which really taught me how to manage my time. I also have chronic pain, which the only reason why I bring that up is because my hours that I have to get stuff done are very limited, and why I do certain things that I do that I'm going to talk about. So whether you have a side project that you're trying to do, if you're working 2 jobs, if you have a full-time job and have children, hopefully these tips help you. If you're excited for this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Let's get into it. All right, so I wrote down notes as I was on a plane for a couple hours for this video, so I have a bunch of tips and stuff here that I want to talk about. I tried to break this down in a way that it would make the most sense. So I asked you guys on Twitter to ask me questions for this video, and one of the questions that came up a lot was, where do you get your motivation from? What motivates you? And as I was sitting on the plane, I was really trying to think, what does motivate me? And I think thinking about that, like really thinking about where you get your motivation from, is really important, because when I really thought about it, for me, I think I get most of my motivation from outside praise, I guess you could say. So whether it's from my family or from my friends, when I do something that I'm proud of and then in return get praise or just acknowledgement for it, I find a lot of satisfaction in knowing that I'm making someone proud. And I think that's what motivates me, like, in the long term. And also just self-worth. I find a lot of my self-worth in my career, which is why I am a workaholic. I will be the first to admit, I totally overwork. I'm a workaholic, so keep that in mind when I'm talking about all this stuff. I prioritize work over certain things in my life because I do find a lot of satisfaction and self-worth in my career. Not that that's a good thing or a negative thing, it's who I am. So that's kind of what motivates me when I think what I'm going to be doing 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now. That's like the big picture motivation. When I think about what motivates me on a daily basis and where I get that motivation from, I think there's a few things. The first one for me is thinking about what I could be doing tomorrow if I get this done right now. So having plans set that you know you're going to have to get stuff done before you go do that. Obviously, if you are self-employed, you kind of have to have self-motivation, or else you're just not going to get anything done. You're your own boss, so you really have to figure it out and find something that works for you. But as far as just not being in the mood, not feeling it, sometimes you just kind of have to recognize that you're not going to be the most productive right now and go take a break. Go take a walk, go do something for an hour, and then come back and sit down and get it done. That's kind of how I used to always be in college. If I went to a coffee shop and was planning on cranking out a couple essays or whatever it was, and I just sat down and could not write, it just wasn't in the cards. Sometimes it's not going to happen, and you just have to give yourself time. I think that's the big thing for me, is giving yourself time to feel that way and then be able to step away and come back to it. If you're cramming an essay the night before it's due and you get that block, you're not going to be able to write your best essay. You're not going to be able to probably turn it in on time. But people are totally different in that way. Like, I had friends in college who would write their best under pressure the night before it's due. I cannot do that. I'm not that type of person. I usually like to get stuff done ahead of time, so I'm not last minute stressing out. If you are not feeling motivated, not feeling like you can get anything done, I have 2 things that I do. 1, listen to music. Listen to really good pump up music. Step away from your desk or whatever it is. Just put in your headphones and go listen to some music. That always pumps me up. Music is crazy the way it can change the way that you feel. And then also listening to Gary Vee's podcast. If you don't listen to Gary Vaynerchuk, his podcast is extremely inspiring, extremely motivating. He interviews different people, different entrepreneurs, calls people up on the phone, and his advice is very similar to the advice that I like and I need to hear, which is just blunt, to the point. Listen to one episode of his podcast, and if you don't feel like you can go conquer the world, there's probably something wrong there. Last thing that I do to motivate myself is incentivize myself. When I was a kid and my parents would make me go on these like long ass bike rides, they used to bring M&Ms along, and every like 10 minutes they would give me a few M&Ms. So I don't know if that's where this came from, but I still do that to myself to this day. Whatever motivates you the most, with food, with going to hang out with a friend, whatever it is, if you're having trouble motivating yourself, give yourself some kind of incentive or reward. Sometimes if I like really want to go to Target or TJ Maxx, I'll only let myself go there if I get XYZ done. Something that works really well for me is timing myself. I'll even do that with like folding the clothes or doing the dishes. If it's something that I really don't like doing, I'll time myself to see how fast I can get it done. I don't usually do that with work because then you kind of like rush through it, but I will kind of give myself the goal to get it done by a certain time so that I'm not getting sidetracked and kind of stopping doing what I'm doing. All right, so next up, organization, and then we're going to talk about execution. In order to be the most productive you can be, organization is so extremely important and key. I'm trying to think how to break this down in a way that it makes sense. So first off, I am a very visual person, whether it's in school, whether it's in work, whether it's just seeing what I have to do. I'm super visual, so I have to have a planner. Even if you don't think you're a visual person, get a freaking planner. It will change your life. I'm not even exaggerating. Having a planner is the best thing that you can do for yourself to stay organized, to stay on top of things, and to actually get stuff done. There is no way I could get done what I get done without a planner. It doesn't even have to be a planner. It basically just needs to be a piece of paper that you write down what you need to get done this week, what your deadlines are, what you need to get done next week, what you need to get done 3 weeks from now, anything that you know you have to get done by a certain date. That way you can work backwards from there. What planners allow you to do is visually separate out the tasks that you have to do and optimize your time. If I woke up every morning and I had no idea what I had to do that day, I would be sitting there wasting time thinking about what I had to get done. I'm not talking like plan out to the minute unless that's your thing. Every single night I write down what I have to get done the next day. Usually I do that about a week in advance, but obviously things come up and things change. So before I go to bed, I know what I have to do in the morning. And that lets me know what time I have to wake up, what time I have to get something done by. I could make a whole other video on planners, but ones that I've used for years were the Erin Condren planners. These are expensive. They're like $50. Honestly, they're good. I really like the vertical version, but if you're just starting out, you're not that into planners, just go to TJ Maxx and get one that's like $6. They have tons of planners. You just want to make sure that there's enough to write out daily tasks. So like in the Erin Condren has vertical and horizontal. I like the vertical better because then you can do like morning, afternoon, night, or whatever. That's what I had been using. This is my current planner. I just use this, I think it's like a German one. The actual planner insert in here, it just slides in, and I got this off of Amazon and I love this. The pages are super soft. I think it was around $30, so it's cheaper than the Erin Condren, and I love the layout. It's still vertical, but it fits in this case. This is really nice too because it actually has a zipper right here which you can put pens in. I have a lot of personal stuff in here, so I don't really like to show pages that I've already used, but here's an example of a blank page when I was still using the Erin Condren in September. So there is no way, unless you just have a crazy good memory or visual memory or something, that you could picture in your head exactly what you have to do 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, tomorrow, all at the same time, which is why planners are great. So basically I work backwards. So if you work ahead of time, it just minimizes the chances that you're not going to be able to get something done. People have 5,000 excuses for why they couldn't get something done. And of course, life happens, things happen. But if you work ahead of time, the chance that you're not going to be able to get something done is so much lower because you have so much more time. For example, if I know I post Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but I wait until the day before to film each video, I would not get any videos out. Just with my health stuff, there's no way. So in order to still get those 3 videos a week out, I pre-film a lot so that I'm able to follow through with something that I commit to. So whether it's health issues or kids or, you know, some other commitment that you have in your life, if you try and get stuff done ahead of time, it's just so much easier to actually get it done and follow through with it. So my point being, it would be really hard to do that and plan ahead that much in advance without writing stuff down. Most excuses can be prevented. If you're someone who finds yourself kind of talking yourself out of something and making excuses for yourself why you can't get something done, I would just write down the excuses that you're giving yourself and think about whether it's something that's in your control or if it's out of your control. For example, if your kid gets sick all of a sudden and you can't go to work that day or you can't get something done, that's obviously something that's out of your control. If you tell yourself that you can't get a project done in time because you have a dinner party that night, that's something that was probably avoidable. If you manage your time a little bit better throughout the week, you probably could have done both. And I also kind of block out my schedule. So if I know I have doctor's appointments or I know I have social stuff going on, I kind of plan things around that. Even when you're planning out your days, whether it's just going grocery shopping, getting errands done, whatever it is, think about all the things you have to do that week and try and just group it together in half a day or whatever so you can get it done all at once. And if that's not realistic, just think through everything that you're doing and think, is there a better time I could be doing this? Is there a better way that I could do this in less time? I am a firm believer in work smarter, not work harder. If you can get in a routine and just learn how to optimize your time, you'll be so much better off. Let's talk about execution. So I kind of already talked about setting the timer. Try it out if there's something that you really don't want to get done. It usually makes you kind of move a little bit faster and just get it done instead of thinking about how you want to get it done. Something else that I do, I don't usually write these down. I just kind of keep these in my head, but have like kind of a list of ongoing tasks that you can do if you're not in the mood or mind space to do something else. So for example, for me, it's usually cleaning the house, doing laundry, doing like kind of things around here that at least I'm still being productive and getting something done. Obviously, that's something that I'm able to do since I'm self-employed, is if I'm not in the mood to do something at that moment, I can do something else and maybe I'll work at 9 at night that night. But this also applies to students or work at home moms, whatever. So if it's during the day and you're not feeling like you can get something done that's work or school related, at least get something else done that's productive that you'll have to do at some point anyways. So for me, something that really helps me get stuff done is my workspace. If I'm in a coffee shop working, I'm so much more productive because I see other people around me working. I hear people on the phone, I hear people talking, and it just kind of motivates me. Co-working spaces are a great option if you work from home because you're also surrounded by people who are doing the same thing. Even if you're in an office, I used to move around to different areas. Like in the afternoon, I would get so sick of being at my desk and I would just be really unproductive there. So I would go and find a different table or go and find a conference room or something. So I think that's pretty much everything. I feel like if you take 2 things away from this, 3 things. 1, get a planner. And if you do get a planner, let me know how it goes, tweet me. Number 2, work ahead of time. You'll be so much less stressed. You'll be able to get things done on time. Number 3, I would say really think about what motivates you. Figure out why you want to do what you want to do, whether you're in school and you want to become a graphic designer, for example, or if you have a job and you're working towards the next position, whatever it is, figure out why you want that. And I feel like if you figure out why you're doing something, you'll have the motivation to do it. For some people, it might be a job title. For some people, it might be financial motivation. It might be that you just love what you're doing or you're super passionate about it or you believe in the cause. Whatever it is, figure out why you get up every morning and why you continue to do what you're doing. So I really hope that helps you guys. Just know that whatever it is, I believe in you. You should believe in yourself. And you got this. If this was helpful for you, don't forget to give this a thumbs up. I have a few other kind of related videos. I have a video on how to get a job out of college. I have a few other kind of advice-y job life videos like this. So I'll link those down below. If you have any other specific questions, leave them down below in the comments. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.